When I was 21 years old, I'm in my final semester of college. I was living rent-free at my parents' house. I was the frozen food section manager of Tom's No Frills in Ajax, just east of Toronto. And I decide that the next logical step in my life should be drop out of college, quit my job, move out of my parents' house to a tiny village on the other side of the planet. And by tiny village, I mean tiny population 30 million village, Tokyo, Japan. For some crazy reason, a company hired me, a college dropout, to teach English to their students from age 12 to age 72. My first week in Tokyo, I'm being trained on how to teach English to our Japanese students. And on the final day of training, our trainers announced that we're going for a celebration meal at a real Japanese restaurant. And I'm so excited about this. Like, I knew nothing about Japan or Japanese food or Japanese culture before I moved to Japan. So we're walking to this restaurant, and I'm talking with our trainers, and I'm talking with all of the new employees. And I find out that nobody in our group reads, speaks, or understands Japanese, which is confusing for me because we're in Japan. We get to this restaurant, the server hands me the menu. I look at this menu, I immediately feel the sweat starting to build. Right? Not only are there no pictures, there is no English on this menu. So like, what do? This guy beside me, no joke, he turns to me, he's like, "Yo, Ryan, can you read this?" I'm like, "Nah, dude." He goes, "Either can I, you order for me." Okay. So I had to think quick. I had to come up with a method of ordering food while I lived in Japan. A method so genius that I use it the entire year that I lived there, and it's kind of scientific. So for those of you who get lost when I give you the title, don't worry, I'm going to explain it. It's called the point, smile, and hope method. Now, some of you might be lost. Let me walk you through this. You take a menu and you point. Anywhere is okay. You smile so that you don't look like a jerk, and then you start hoping that you get something that you can eat, that you've eaten before, or that you will eat. And sometimes it worked out awesome. I got things like fried chicken and French fries and salad and sushi and soup and noodles, things that I love, things that I learned to love. But some other times it didn't work out in my favor. One time after using the point, smile, and hope, I got basashi. Oh, you don't speak Japanese? Let me help you with that. Raw horse. Yeah. Another time I used the point, smile, and hope, and I get shirako. You don't know? Okay. Fish sperm. So I moved back to Canada. It wasn't the day I ordered the shirako either. I finished my contract. I moved back to Canada. I spent my first 3 months back in Canada, back in college, finishing the program I had started 2 years early. I graduate college. I spend the next 3 months filming a low-quality, low-budget research video about students and how they were making their choices and decisions for their next year, whether they were still in high school, going to work, university, or college. After interviewing a ton of students, I came to the conclusion that the majority of them were using the point, smile, and hope method. Right? They were looking at their courses for their next year and going, this one. All right? They were applying for jobs like, I don't know what it is, but I hope it pays well. Going to schools they knew nothing about for programs that they weren't interested in. And when I asked them the question, are you making the right decision? I got 3 answers. No, maybe, and I hope so. So today we've already heard from Mark, and for the rest of the day we're going to hear from a bunch of other incredible people doing amazing things. Part of Earth's revolution and part of this evolving culture that we have. And something that every single person is going to have in common is that they understand their menu. There is no pointing, smiling, and hoping from the people that you guys are going to be hearing from. Because that's the one common thing that every revolution in history has. That the people who are a part of them are not pointing, smiling, and hoping that it works out. They know exactly what they want, and they are not stopping until they have it. So there once were these 3 construction workers, Simon, Andrew, and Bob, 3 great buddies working on a skyscraper downtown. They're working together one day, the lunch bell rings. They sit down at the top. Simon opens up his lunchbox, and he turns to his 2 buddies, and he's like, "Would you guys look at this? I got a ham sandwich again. I get ham every single day of the week, and I'm sick of it. If I get it one more time, I'm jumping off this building." And Andrew's like, "I think it's a little drastic." Takes out his sandwich, opens up his lunchbox. He looks at the sandwich, and he's like, "A turkey sandwich again? Man, I get turkey every single day of the week, and I'm sick of it. If I get it one more time, I swear to you guys, I'm jumping off this building." Bob opens his lunchbox. He takes out his sandwich. And he's like, peanut butter again? Man, I get peanut butter every single day of the week, and I'm sick of it. If I get it one more time, I'm joining you guys. I'm off this building. Next day, like the day before, same skyscraper, same 3 guys, same lunch break. They go and they sit down at the top. Simon opens up his lunchbox. He takes out his sandwich. He's like, a ham sandwich again? I can't take this anymore. And he slams it down, and he jumps off the building. Andrew opens up his lunchbox, takes out his sandwich. He's like, what, a turkey sandwich again? I can't take this anymore. And he slammed it down, and he jumped off the building. Now, Bob's sitting there looking a little bit nervous. He opens up his lunchbox, takes out his sandwich. He peels those 2 pieces of bread apart. He looks inside. He screams to the sky, peanut butter again? Why me? I can't take this anymore. And he slams it down, and he jumps off the building. A few days later, the wives of these guys are having a funeral for them. And after the funeral was done, they're speaking with each other. And Simon's wife spoke first. She's like, I don't understand. I thought Simon liked ham. If he didn't like ham, he should have told me. I would have made him anything else, but not once did he ask me. And Andrew's wife is like, I know, I don't get it. I thought Andrew liked turkey. If he didn't want turkey, he should have told me. I would have made him something else, but he never asked. Bob's wife, with tears streaming down her face, she said, I know, I don't understand. Bob was making his own lunch. I love telling that joke to students. Sometimes if I'm working with a really small group of students somewhere in North America where I travel and speak all year round, we talk about the type of person that Bob is. And the first words I hear every single time are, what an idiot! Who does that? Who makes a lunch every single day that they know that they hate? And if they're making it, why are they complaining about it? Who does that? And the answer to that question is every person in this room does that. I don't care if you're not a dude and your name's not Robert, you're Bob. We all spend time complaining about certain things, wanting things to change, wanting to get involved with certain things, but so few of us try to change those things. Revolution is not possible unless you realize that you make your own lunch. It's not possible until you get sick and tired of something and decide to change it. Every revolution in history started when somebody got sick and tired of something. So get sick and tired. Like, get sick and tired of the way that things are happening in your communities. Get sick and tired of the bullying that's happening in your schools. Get sick and tired of the way that society views and treats young people. But I know what happens. We hear the word revolution, right? And just to get the definition clear, revolution is the first time something happens differently, and evolution is everything that follows. We hear revolution, and we get like so nervous because that word is heavy. We see flags waving. We see walls crumbling. We see million-man marches. We immediately start thinking of people like Rosa Parks, who sparked this revolution of civil rights. And we think, I can't do that. Now, I didn't know Rosa Parks, but something tells me that she didn't go to bed at night wanting to be the next Rosa Parks. She got sick and tired of something and decided to do something about it. We hear this word revolution, and we feel that it only has one definition, right? But we forget that there's other definitions of the word revolution. Like the definition that says it's a small turn or a small cycle, usually referred to a larger movement. The reason I'm pointing to my watch is because right now I have these gears in my watch, these little tiny gears that are spinning ever so slightly, and they're attached to other gears that are spinning. And those gears are attached to the hands, and those hands are telling me the time. You are the tiny gears that turn, that make revolution possible. One tiny little gear making one tiny little move, connecting to another gear, connecting to another gear, connecting to the way that things are done in our schools, in our communities, in our government. And before we know it, enough gears start spinning and the world starts turning in a way that we've never seen before. The second lesson in starting revolutions is get sick and tired of something. Get sick and tired and realize that you make your own lunch. Nobody else is going to change those things for you. And then decide what it is and do it. Now, so for my work, I travel all year round speaking to high school students all across North America. And I've started to learn some things about high school aged guys. And it's one of the things that I've noticed, it's now science, it's that teenage guys are only capable of 2 things. Okay? They think and they do. 3% thinking, 97% doing. This is science. You guys can look it up. And the science, the true science behind this is this. You want to know how to tell a guy has used his 3% thinking? His next sentence will always start like this. I've got an idea. Right? When guys are together in a group, one guy does the 3% thinking for the entire group. It's still only 3%. So when I was in grade 11, I had one of these moments. I'm hanging out with two of my buddies in my friend's basement, and we're talking about what we should be doing for the day. Day off school, keys to my parents' car. My friend turns to me and says, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know, dude. What do you want to do? I don't know, bro. You make the call. Then, like a bolt from the heavens, my friend was granted our group's 3% thinking when he said these epic words. He's like, I've got an idea. I'm like, what's your idea? He goes, follow me. We are going to drive around your parents' neighborhood in the car that your parents have given you. We are going to light firecrackers, and we are going to throw them out the window. So naturally, me being the responsible young adult that I was, I said, what an amazing idea, right? So we run out to this car, and we are driving around lighting firecrackers and throwing them out the window, lighting firecrackers and throwing them out the window. Quick math, quick science. I am driving 40 kilometers an hour. It takes 10 seconds for that wick to burn down. By the time we light it and we throw it and we drive, we are 2 football fields away from it. We barely hear the explosion. So don't ask me what stars were aligned this day to make this next miracle possible. My friend was granted the mysterious and magical bonus 3% thinking when he said these words that had never been spoken before in human history. He said, I've got a better idea. I'm like, how do you top the first one? He goes, simple, Ryan, follow me. I'm going to light this firecracker, and I'm going to hold on to it longer. Me being the responsible young adult that I was, I said, what an amazing idea. Why didn't I think of that? What I'm about to explain takes place in a 10-second time period. My friend lights a firecracker and holds it 6 inches from his nose. Now, I want you to imagine how great he's feeling about life, how accomplished he is feeling right now with this revolution that he is holding in his hand. I look down at the road, up at the rearview mirror, down at the road, up at the rearview mirror, down at the road, up at the mirror. That's when I see it. From the street behind us pulls a police car. True story. Remember how good my friend's feeling, right? Imagine the change that takes place on his face when I say the following 2 words. Yo, cops! Pride gone, replaced with panic as he starts freaking out, trying to figure out what to do with the burning firecracker. He's looking up at me, down at the ground, up at me, down at the ground, up at me, out the window, down at the ground, doing this over and over and again. And everybody in here knows what he should have done. Spit on it, break it in half, step on it. What was he thinking? He wasn't thinking. 3% thinking, and that's long gone with those 2 great ideas. I see a street coming up on my right-hand side, and I'm hoping for just a few more seconds out of that burning wick in the firecracker in my friend's hands. I put on my right indicator. I start to turn that corner. I look in the rearview mirror. I see my friend's face. Panic gone. Replaced with shame, guilt, and failure as I see my friend lift up one leg and sit on the firecracker. Imagine what it's like waiting for that. He's like, no, not yet. So I turn the corner, the police pass us, then I hear it. That's not the actual explosion. This guy's like, how are you still alive? The cameraman's like, how'd you get a picture? Like, that's... How many times have you found yourself saying, I've got an idea. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to change. I know how to get involved. But then you say, I'm just going to hold on to this one a little bit longer. I'm going to sit on this idea and wait for the right time. You know what happens with those ideas? Nothing. We smother them. They disappear, we forget all about them. Sometimes they cause you a little bit of pain when you realize that you miss an opportunity, your window of opportunity. But most of the times we smother them and we forget all about them. Every person that you're going to hear from today has something in common. They had an idea and they did something about it. And that's how revolution starts. It happens when you have an idea, big or small, and you say, hey, why don't we see where this goes? Revolution happens when you understand your menu, when you understand exactly what it is that you want to have happen and you cut off every other option. It happens when you guys get sick and tired of something and realize that no one else is going to change those things but you. And they're going to happen when you start right now, What are you waiting for? By being here today at TED, you guys are being given a handful of firecrackers, right? Firecrackers in the form of new ideas, new information, new questions, new friends, new mentors, new things to try, new things to get involved with. And you guys decide, are you going to sit on those things or are you going to start a revolution? Thank you guys. ありがとうございました。